Jacob, thanks for coming on the show.
Oh, no problem.
So I was taking a look at the Kickstarter, and I admit, as far as Kickstarters go, I was always amazed at just with how this came about, how people are able to get in there and put out their vision and be able to get people to see it and say to themselves, you know what, I want to put my money behind this. And I see here, with this, you have backers that are interested in it. But I know that this isn't your first game. This is actually based off of a previous game. Is that correct?
Yeah, this is based off Callan's game. Callan is the creator, and he owns the Unallied, and he's been making games since 2008. So this is his 10th and final game for Xbox Live Indie Market, which was Dwarf Madness. And our new Kickstarter is called Super Dwarf Madness, which is based off of Dwarf Madness, which is out on Xbox Live Indie Market right now for just $1. So.
Okay. So in Dwarf Madness, how long ago was that created, the first one?
Dwarf Madness has been in development for about 6 months to a year. I joined in on the project with Callan when he was about halfway through it. He met me through my gaming and public group, which is based in DC. We do events with indie developers. So he came to my group and he said, "Oh, I make games for Xbox Live Indie Market." And I said, "Oh, I do promotion." So we came together as a group. So now I work as the community manager for the Unallied. But he came up with the idea because we love twin stick shooters, dwarves, zombies, guns, and gold. You can't go wrong. So.
Well, exactly. And for people that don't know, twin stick shooters, that's the kind of shooters that you would see back in the day, like oh my god, I just had the name, like oh man. I remember playing a bunch of the arcade games. There was one that was like a game show one where you went around and you would shoot all kinds of things. It was crazy like that. Is that correct? A twin shooter meaning you use both sticks, left and right?
Yeah. So the right analog stick is to move and left analog stick is to shoot. So wherever direction you point is to shoot. Yeah, I think you're thinking of Smash TV, which is one of my favorite games.
Yeah, I had it in my head and then I lost it.
I'm trying to remember the other one. It was for Xbox Live Arcade. What's it called? It was made by Bizarre, I think. Oh my god. They went bankrupt. They made that game Blur. I should know this game. I feel so sorry that I don't remember this game. It was so good. Geometry Wars, that's what it is. So mainly it's just fun, you shoot around, but the twist on our game is that you pick up gold coins. So enemies will always come at you, but the whole point of the game is to pick up the gold coins. So once you pick up 5 gold coins in easy, you get to the next round. And then on hard, it's 10 gold coins.
Oh, okay. And yeah, Robotron actually was twin stick, and Total Carnage. That was the other one, Total Carnage, I was thinking of. All right, so Super Dwarf Madness, like you said, you're fighting zombies, and it's twin stick. What else can you tell me about it for people that are just seeing it for the first time?
I would say that people who like an old school kind of feeling, this is pretty much being built with kind of 16-bit art that's being done by Francis, and Francis does freelance work. He used to work as an intern for Disney, which was pretty cool. He's done he worked with Dora the Explorer and other things like that, and right now he works on comics, Sammy and Friends, like an internet comic, which is really cool. So we're excited to have him on board, because this is Callan's first project with like a full-time artist, and that's where a lot of the money we're trying to get pledges for, because without the pledges we can't make the full game, because we need a new art direction. But also, we're making this into an online experience. So it's a 1 to 4 player online twin stick shooter. So you can play by yourself, you can play with friends, and there's different leaderboards for every player. So there's a leaderboard for 1 player, there's a leaderboard for 2 player, 3 player, 4 player. So if you only have 2 friends and it's a 3-player game, you can compete for 3-player high scores. And that's in the Xbox Live version right now. That only has local co-op. But with Super Dwarf Madness, it's being made for PC, Mac, and Linux, and that's going to have 1 to 4 player online co-op.
Now the story itself, I mean, I think the idea of Dwarves with Guns look great, and I was looking at the different characters that you have and the guns that they use. I mean, was it, like, I know, honestly, the only time I really seen, like, Dwarves with Guns was, like, in World of Warcraft. I'm sure it's probably older than that, but, I mean, where did the concept, for the storyline come from?
The storyline is a little bit Hobbit, you know. I mean, the whole point is in Dwarf Madness is that the caves get overrun by zombies, and then the old dwarves have to move out, and it's the caves of Dwell. And then these new generation of dwarves figure out about the cave of Dwell, and the dwarves hide all the gold in the ceilings, and that's why they drop from the ceiling. When every round starts, gold drops from the ceiling. So it's like how we explain why the gold drops in the first place, because they hide it in the ceilings, and it's always constantly falling. But there's so much risk because there are zombies there.
Oh, that's pretty cool. And like, it's not just about just shooting. Like you were saying that it's about collecting coins. So, it's not just killing alone. There's also more to it.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have to kill the zombies. There's going to be a ton of them coming your way. Right. So you're going to have to mow through them. But sometimes you have to put yourself in a really sticky situation and go through a horde of zombies just because you have to get that one coin, that last coin, to get to the next round.
And then I see that you guys utilize like humor and stuff, so it's like you're laughing and having fun while you're playing as well. I always like when they throw in funny humor in games. Some people want it all serious, but I like a mix of both.
Yeah, I mean, our favorite character in terms of like funny, if you haven't seen, Lamp is probably one of my favorite ones.
Yeah, Lamp. I like Boomhilda just because of the name, but yeah, Lamp would look really cool.
Ballin is also one of my favorites too, because Ballin, has a pimp chain. He's got a goblet. He's ready to fight whenever, and he's got a gold too. So
I can see him shooting while drinking from the goblet. That'd be great.
But compared to Dwarf Madness, Super Dwarf Madness, our characters are all going to have special abilities. So Lamp calls out chickens to attack the zombies. Boomhild shoots out does like an opera sting and stuns all the enemies around you. And then, like, Ballin has a chain, he pulls it out, and everybody gets stunned because they're blinded by all the gold. Things like that. It's just going to be fun.
That's awesome. When I read the thing about him liking chickens, and then you said about the attack, it made me think about, like, Zelda. It's like he just sends a flock of chickens to come get you.
We referred it to Zelda, and are you a big Muppets fan?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like Gonzo the Great, because he loves chickens too, and like Lamp is just such a off character, because everybody else is like, we're serious, we're killing everybody, and Lamp, like, how does Lamp kill people? He's got the shadow, he's got no eye, but he just does it because he's just, he's so great.
So what is, like, a lot of people know about a Kickstarter, obviously, but could you tell us maybe a little bit about the process of bringing a project to Kickstarter, and then, what it takes to actually get it out to the community and get people interested? Because, I've seen people talk about how some fail and some succeed, and yeah, sometimes the product isn't good, but even if the product is good, it can be very challenging to get the word out. Can you tell me about that process?
I mean, it's a constant battle. Our campaign was really long. I mean, that's probably one of our downfalls, is we went for a full 60-day rather than 30 days. It's getting across to people that the money is necessary and you need it now. And we do need all the pledges that we can get to reach our $12,000 goal. And that's just to pay for art and help Francis do more programming. Because to make a game that's this long, it's going to take about 8 months to a year. It's being built off the same engine, but it's completely new art, and then completely new. We're adding a lot more things to it, like the special attacks. We have some other cool ideas we're about to announce on our Kickstarter. But it's just getting the message across that you need the money and you're not going to waste it. And Callan has experience since 2008 making games professionally, and he doesn't make a ton of money off of it. And we really do need all the pledges that we can get to make this game happen. And it's going to happen if we do make all the pledges that we can get. It's not like if we get the money, we're just going to sit on it. Like, $12,000 isn't a ton of money, but that's just enough money that we need to make the game. So.
Right, and I like how you guys break it down, and you even say, later on the page that if you're able to raise more, it's not just, like you said, it could be sat on. You have additional levels that if you get more than your goal, you can even add more to the game.
Yeah, I mean, we'd love to do, like, player versus player. We have some ideas for new weapons, like a flamethrower. Also, more zombies, more mini-bosses. Right now, Dwarf Madness doesn't really have any bosses. It's just enemies. So Super Dwarf Madness, we have ideas for a couple of bosses. But when we raise more money, we're going to add more bosses as well, too.
Now, as far as I also see that you have voice acting in that, which is cool because everyone's getting used to voice acting. So I mean, is that where the jokes are going to come? A mixture of from voice and then from things like the chickens and the pimp chain and things like that.
Yeah, we're really excited. We're not hiring anybody professionally. Obviously, with $12,000, not enough. But like, we have a lot of friends who just are really funny, and I have a perfect friend who's going to be the voice of Lamp because he's just so silly. And when we were doing the whole Kickstarter film, originally we didn't have the intro with Callan in it, and it was a lot more just like us being ridiculous. So the whole point is that we're all working in an office, and zombies are coming in, and they're getting shot up by people who are, because they just can't stop coming in. So the dwarves just shoot them whenever they come in. So we had all these like outtakes of my friend Rob just like talking and being silly, and he just had the perfect dwarf voice. It was just perfect. So he's going to be the voice of Lamp. But we don't have any. We're not set on anybody else for any of the other voices.
Oh, I mean, I think that you find someone that is able to do it well. It doesn't really matter if it's a big name or not. I think overall people care about quality, and I think that's what's great about indie games and being able to see how something is developed, and you'll say these guys are actually putting the quality into it. I was looking at how you were talking about using the Unity platform, and I admit I know nothing about making games or anything. I know you're the community manager, but do you have information on like that platform? Is that what's used a lot in the industry to make these kinds of games?
I mean, just like you, I don't personally program or do any of the art. I just help get the word out. But it's important to understand that Unity is moving forward. It's a great platform. We're not 100% set on it. It probably is going to be our platform because it's pretty great when it comes to like you can do a game and you make it and it runs on Mac, Linux, and PC, and you don't have to work on 3 separate things at the same time. I mean, we would love to continue making games in XNA, but sadly, obviously, it's gone. We can't do anything about it. So Unity seems to be the way forward, and a lot of the stuff they give you is for free. And if you don't make a lot of money off of it, it's still free. So, which is great. But a lot of even like console games and mobile games are being used with Unity. One of my favorite games, Oregon Trail, which was on Kickstarter as well too. They made their game for mobile for Unity.
Oh, okay. Now, I see that you guys have gotten a lot of press. I was looking at the different things that people are talking about on your Kickstarter page. How's it been so far as far as coverage and what people have been saying about the game, the reception?
My favorite point probably, we debuted the game Dwarf Madness at Boston Fig, and we got people to play the game, and it was pretty great because like we had like kids who wouldn't get off. There was a kid almost there for like an hour playing the game. He was like, "I want to be balling this time." No, and then the other kid was like, "No, I'm going to be balling." But it's funny because right now the characters in Dwarf Madness are all the same pretty much because it's just basic. It's like $1 a game, so it's basic. So all the characters look different slightly, but they all have the same. They do the same attack and damage and stuff. There's nothing really different about them right now, and that's what we're going to do with Super Dwarf Madness is really make all the characters different. So Ballin's going to be completely different from Lamp, and they're going to be better at using certain weapons than the others. So Blasty is better with using shotgun. So if you use a shotgun with Blasty, he might be able to shoot faster or do a little bit more damage than anybody else would. Or like Baldwin might be better with SMG. So that's another way we're adding more depth to Super Dwarf Madness.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
But like it's really great that we have a lot of good friends in the indie gaming community, development-wise, who've given us the quotes, and they've been really supportive of us, and they've been trying to help us, get the word out. So.
Now, how did you guys choose? Because I was always curious about this as far as Kickstarters. How do you guys choose the different pledge levels and what people get?
We had a lot of debate over it. It's hard with Kickstarter because you want to give something to people, but you don't want to give them something that you can't deliver on in the end. So it's cool to give people T-shirts and physical things, but you end up paying a lot of money up there. So like you could offer somebody a T-shirt and say it's $15, but if you only get, let's say, X amount of people do it, you might lose money because you can't give it to people for $15 because it costs you $20 to make. So a lot of it you want to look at things digitally. Like it's cool with us because you pay $20, you get a beta, but then at $35 you get 4 copies of the game because it's an online co-op experience. So we want people to enjoy it. So if you pay $35, you get all that stuff, plus you get the beta for one person as well too.
So when you're collecting the coins in the game, you use these to do different types of upgrades for your guns and magic. What other kinds of like guns and magic abilities will you guys have besides your basic and your special attacks?
Right now, the way it works is you buy items. I wouldn't per se say magic. It's not like there's like a magic button per se. But the way it's gonna work with Super Dwarf Madness is there's going to be a timer on the special attacks. So you don't get X amount, so it's like we don't know exactly how much. It's like every 2 minutes, maybe you can blind people with ball and special attack. But it takes a while to recharge. So right now there is no ammo in the game, so you just keep shooting as long as you want. So it's about finding the right balance with the right character and making sure they do the role that they're supposed to do. So if Blasty's better using a shotgun and his special attack is he just kills everything on the screen, you want to be up front in the front lines. But then if you're Boomhelms, you stun people, with a screech. But you want to time it together with your team so you can get further and further and further. Because the game doesn't stop. It just keeps going and going and going. So it's about pushing yourself to go to each new round. But the gold you pick up in each round, you use to buy. So you can buy like armor, you use to buy the coin finder, which is probably the most important thing you need to buy when you play Dwarf Madness. Because the coin finder just points you in the right direction of where the next coin is. So.
Oh, okay. Now, in the game, we just got through publishing the gamer profile you guys sent. Thanks for that, by the way. And I saw that on yours that you talked about Mega Man 3. So, how you've been playing games, I guess, since NES, SNES era?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up on a Nintendo. I was in the day. I didn't actually have a Super Nintendo. I went over to Sega for some reason. I went from like Nintendo to Sega, and then I had a PlayStation 2, Nintendo 64. But I mean, I always loved like classic shooters. Like GoldenEye is another great one of my favorite games also as well too for Nintendo 64. Just showing you can do a first-person shooter on console. So.
Why Mega Man 3? I mean, I saw that you talked about Top Man, but was that? I mean, that overall was like, as far as classic games, the one that really stood out for you.
Yeah, it's funny because Top Man's like the easiest boss I feel like in 3, but he's just so funny. It's like I feel like in every other game, it's like they try to figure out more ideas, and then it's like in 3, it's like a Top Man, it's like a dreidel, he spins. And then your special movies, you just like run around like doing ballerina twirls at things. I think it's kind of funny. I also liked it too because like after you beat the bosses from 3, there's that time where you get to fight the bosses from 2, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the Mega Man series, I've always loved it from the very beginning. Even though, man, like I went back and I was playing just the original Mega Man 1, and I was amazed at how hard it was. I was like, I'm losing my skills. It's like honestly, there's a lot of retro games that now I seem to suck at. I don't know. I guess I'm too old. I don't have the Twitch factor anymore. What about modern games? Like, what would be games that you're playing now?
Right now I'm playing Game Dev Tycoon. I just got the Stanley Parable. I haven't touched it at all yet. I also just got what else? Volgar the Viking, which is produced by Adult Swim, which is pretty cool. I play a ton of indie games. It's usually my list. You have Steam. A game goes on sale for like $3. You go, I gotta have it, even if you don't know what it is, and then it just sits on your list.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, as far as people who are looking at the Kickstarter, and we have it up on ObsoleteGamer.com, and of course you can go over to Kickstarter and look up Super Dwarf Madness as well. But is there something that you would say, like to tell people that, would get them, even more motivated to go and check out the Kickstarter, like something that they would, want to know?
I think it is important to know. Obviously, we're the only game that has a dwarf, with a pimp cup and a ball and ass chain. Also, we have Lamp who loves chickens, but it's a great twin stick shooter with characters that you're going to grow to love. I think, comparatively to most twin stick shooters. I mean, you're still shooting, generally generic zombies, but I think you're gonna grow to love and like find all the characters funny, and it's gonna be great since we're doing our cameo updates about to launch too, where we're featuring, Rick from Retrograde, Bob from Cloudberry Kingdom, Creed from Party Ascent, and Kitschy Kitty from High Class Kish. So that should also be really fun to have in the game and in the story as well too.
Awesome. Do you think that with all the different game developers out there, and of course there's some that just pump out stuff and they don't really take the time, do you think that kind of hurts indie gaming? Like it puts too much, people look and they see all these games and they just say to themselves, oh, it's all the same, and sometimes it gets, good games like yours get passed over?
I'm just gonna say that it's really, really hard to get noticed. I mean, you'll go on Kickstarter and people won't have a complete game, and it'll be an idea, and people will get a lot of money for an idea. If you look at like Mighty Number 9, Mighty Number 9 didn't really have gameplay to show or anything, and he raised like 3.9 million. I mean, he is the guy who made Mega Man, so he's gonna deliver, but he didn't deliver a game, and like I'm so happy for other projects like Neverending Nightmares because he just showed that, like, look, I made no money on my first game. You have to understand, like, you need to, like, I live on this. I have to buy this. And that's the same thing we're trying to get across to people, too. Like, if we can make our pledge of $12,000, we can make a game, and then we can hopefully have our dream come true and, start a company. Right now, we have full-time jobs, and we don't make very much money on what we do. So with the XNA market, you had to keep delivering games because as soon as your game was off the front page of XNA, it was really hard to filter through the games pretty much. So you got lost. So you just had to keep churning out games, and that was just how Xbox Live Indie Market worked.
Yeah, I mean, I admit that was the one thing. I think that Kickstarter is great, but there are many Kickstarters that I see where it's hosted by people who I get the feeling either they have the money or they could get the backing, and they're just using maybe either their name or something else, and people are just going to flock there, and then maybe someone's on a budget and they'll say, oh, I'm going to pick this game, and then other games won't get the funding because people are going there. I mean, I don't want to start a controversy, but I mean, have you seen that, or have you experienced where you said to yourself, man, why is this person here on Kickstarter, either with a game or something else, when they probably should do it, a different way?
I mean, I'm not gonna pull too many jabs either. I think Double Fine will deliver their game, and I was a backer of their first one. But I was upset with them doing another Kickstarter for another game when they didn't deliver on their first game, and I just feel like they should just finish the first game and then come out with another game. And then, did you see the news that they came out with another game behind everybody's backs? And I was like, where's Massive Chalice? Where's Broken Age? Like, how long have you been working on this third title that I'd never heard about in my entire life?
So, how did the name the Unallied come? I mean, it sounds like it would make sense. Like, you're not allied with someone else, but is there more to it?
Callan came up with the name because he worked alone. Pretty much 10 of the games, a few of them, the drink card games that he makes, which is like there's a card drinking game, there's a beer pong game, there's also a flip cup game. He pretty much came up with the name because he was working by himself for the most part, so he wasn't allied with anybody. So that's how the Unallied came about, pretty much.
And you yourself, you've also worked, to help promote other indie games as well in your past, correct?
Yeah, I still even do that right now. So I run Gaming in Public, which is a DC-based indie gaming group. So once every other month, we get a bar, and we get a developer, we talk to them, usually via Skype. We play the game at a bar, and we drink, and we talk with the developers. So I've done events with Clean Entertainment, I've done events with Crankshaft Games, Alchemy Labs, Dejabon Games, Spudge Cat Games, Vlambeer. But, like, it's just fun to make it into a fun event. I don't think they get enough coverage in general. And it's good to tell people, especially in a social setting, like, this is a great game, you should go out and play it. So
Yeah, and I like with Super Dwarf Madness that you talk about like the 8-bit type of games. I mean, is that basically the kind of feel that that they want to go with as far as this game, to have it have more of a classic feel to it?
Yeah, I mean, this game runs with the 360 controller
Mhm.
because it's built. I mean, Dwarf Madness is built off XNA, so it runs really well with the controller. We are also building it to run with a keyboard and mouse, but we love console games to start. We always will love console games, and Steam is a great platform. We haven't started a green light yet, but we will soon if we can make our funding. To hopefully get on Steam and other venues. Indie Game Stand just started selling games on their platform, so we're really excited to get out there for people to play. So
Okay, that's awesome. Well, I encourage everybody to go over to Kickstarter and check out Super Dwarf Madness. You'll see links on ObsoleteGamer.com. Right now, as of this broadcast, is showing 25 days to go. So, you guys got to go over there. Donate what you can. Every little bit helps, and I really do think it's important because, when we first started Obsolete Gamer, we were talking just classic gaming, and then we saw all these indie gamers who, come out, and a lot of them just realize that there's a lot of great games that you can make, and Kickstarter is a good way to get that help. And Super Dwarf Madness looks good. I looked at the original Dwarf Madness on Xbox, so it looks awesome. So everyone go out there, make this project happen. I want to hear that this gets its funding. And Jacob, I want to thank you for coming on the show and talking to us about it.
thank you so much.